earlier I had made a video where I just did my eyes and how to do that. So now I wanted to make a video on how I do my base and my foundation, bronzer, all of that stuff. So yeah, if you hear my dog barking, it's Christmas time, so everyone's home, and that's, can't help that. So anyway, the first thing I always do is put on my moisturizer. I'm kind of switching in between right now. I really like to use a vitamin E oil at night, but right now I'm using the Vichy Mineral 89 moisturizer. I like it so far, it's alright. So anyway, I'm going to put some of that on. It's really good to put moisturizer on before you start, because it's kind of like a primer in that it will even out your skin's texture a little bit before you start. And if you don't do that, if you have any dry patches, the foundation could cling to it and look not very good. So the next thing you want to do is use a primer. I really like the Benefit Professional, but I don't have that right now. So I'm using the Rimmel Stay Matte. And this one's pretty good. It gets the job done and it's really cheap, so it's fine. It's not amazing, but anyway, so it's best to use a mattifying one just in your T-zone. You don't really need to put it all over your face. So what this is, and this will help even out your skin tone, fill your pores, make your makeup stay all day. So yeah, it's really great. And it also, if you don't want to invest in an expensive foundation, it's really nice to use a primer, because then it can kind of help your foundation do more than it would originally. So now, my favorite foundation forever, I don't think I will ever change, is the Estee Lauder Double Wear. I'm almost out, but this stuff is amazing, like the best foundation just ever. But if you don't want to buy that because it's a little expensive, the Fit Me Matte and Poreless is also very good. So if you want to not buy that, just dot this all over my face. Okay, so now I'm going to blend it in, and I really like this brush by Morphe. The name is actually rubbed off, but it's just a good buffer brush. It's really good. It's very dense, and Morphe I love because it's pretty inexpensive, and it's usually very good quality. So you just want to buff it in and also rub it, and you really want to spend a good amount of time on this, because if your foundation is streaky, if I'm looking at, I have a little mirror here, so if your foundation is streaky, it's just not going to look good. It's not cute. So spend a good amount of time making sure it's really blended in. And now what you want to make sure you do, it's really important, is to blend it down your neck. You do not want any lines. It's just not a good look. So blend it all the way down and just keep on blending. Okay, so now that we have the foundation on, I like to do under eye next because I like to let mine bake, because I really think it helps. So anyway, my favorite concealer that I've used for years, I don't really think you need to spend more than this because I think this just worked really well, is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind eraser for dark circles. And I really like to get the, there's a couple different shades, but the shade that I think works the best is Neutralizer, because it's a yellowy kind of shade, so it works to neutralize your dark circles. So anyway, I really think this is just really good. So now I really like to use a beauty blender. I have a normal beauty blender, which is getting old. I just got a Real Techniques one because I heard it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. It's not quite the same, but it's still good. So anyway, I just blend this out, and the one thing that you want to try to do with this blending is you want to go not just in one direction like this, because what that will do is it will help create creasing. If you go back and back and back and back different directions, It actually will help not settle the product in your creases, and it should help to not let your makeup crease, which I see a lot of people have trouble with, which is totally understandable. It's hard to not let it crease, but it also depends on your concealer, and I think that this one does a really good job of not creasing. Okay, so now you want to set. It's really important to set right after you put the concealer on. I really like to set with the Rimmel Stay Matte Powder in Transparent. I find it works really well. I've used a lot of different setting powders. I think this one is really good, but there's a lot out there you can try. But this one is really cheap. It seems to do the right thing. It doesn't seem to have very bad flashback, so I really like it. Now, I like to put my powder on with a beauty blender. I just think that it kind of melts the powder better into your skin. Okay, so now that we have that done, we're going to go in with a concealer just to kind of spot correct anything that the foundation didn't cover up. And I think it's really important to wait a little bit after you applied your foundation to apply your powder, because I think it kind of sets into the skin a little bit better, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, so I like to use the Fit Me 20 in Sand. Again, I think that most concealers do a similar job. I've used this for years. I've never really felt the need to buy a really expensive concealer. Anyway, put that on, same brush, and just blend that in. Okay, so now that we have all the concealer blended in, we're just going to set everything with the matte powder. Now, I really like the same powder, the Rimmel Stay Matte, but in a darker shade because you want the lightest under your eyes. This is nude beige, and I think it works well. This is literally like $2.99, and I think it's so good as powder. It really, really works. So anyway, this is an EcoTools big powder brush. Works good for me. So just set your face. I use a couple different bronzers. The Hoola by Benefit is really good. This is a really good bronzer. Everyone loves. I've tried the Physicians Formula that everyone talks about. I actually really didn't like it. I thought it was overpriced for what it was. Anyway, I didn't like it. I also really like, this looks really gross, but it is the Laura Geller Fake Color in Sunset Glow little compact, and the top broke off, but the bronzer in here is really, really good, and it's actually my favorite out of everything I have. I kind of even like it better than Hoola, so if you can find this, I would get it because it has everything you need, which is really cool. Anyway, so this is another Morphe brush. The number is also rubbed off because I really like it, but it's an angled brush, which is best for bronzer, and it's also very dense. I like a dense brush for bronzer, and I'm not really going to contour today. If you want to see that another time, let me know how to do that. But anyway, put it on the places where the sun hits. So you want it on your forehead, right here, underneath your cheekbone, same thing on this side. Always go under your chin. Even if you don't think you need it, it's just really good for blending, making it look seamless so you don't have harsh lines. Okay, so now once your bronzer's all blended in, again, you don't want harsh lines. This isn't contouring, this is just warming up the face. Now we can dust off our bake because it's been enough. So you just want to flick it off. You don't want to like rub because you did do a lot of work under there, so you want it to stay. You just want to rub off the excess and just kind of blend in like that. And it should leave your under eye nice and smooth with not a lot. See? No creases. And that's what baking does. It really helps with creasing, and it helps that it stays all day. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is blush. I love blush. I usually use too much, but I love it. This is actually an e.l.f. blush brush, but it's really, really good. I have a ton of brushes, and this is just the one I always go to. So if you can find this, get it. It's really, really good. So my favorite blush is the NARS Orgasm. It's just a really pretty blush on a lot of people. but I am just about out, so I'm gonna have to get some more. But this is NARS Orgasm, if you can find it. It's a little expensive. Try to buy it on sale, but when I don't have that, I use a couple different things. So there's a couple Essence blushes that are okay. The thing is, they wear off pretty quickly. So for right now, I'm just gonna use the blush that comes in the beige color, Sunset Glow, one I was talking about. And it's really pretty. I don't mind a blush with a little bit of glow in it. I think it's kind of pretty. Now with blush, I use a little more than most people like, so keep that in mind. But you want to concentrate it on, you bring it back a little bit with your bronzer, but it goes on the apples of your cheeks. You don't want to get it too crazy going everywhere, but a little bit of blush I think is really nice at kind of pulling everything together. So I'm just going to do that. Okay, so once you have that, the last thing we're going to do is highlighter. I think highlighter is pretty everyday. I think there's a lot of different types of highlighters, so I'm going to show you a couple of my favorites and then see what you want to do. So this is one of the Anastasia Glow Kits. They're usually pretty expensive, but if you can find them on sale, it's nice. They have lots of different colors. They're all very good quality, but I honestly don't think you need to spend that much money on highlighter. If you really love makeup, maybe, but I also really like, I think this makes a little bit more sense since it's not just highlighter. It's one of their contour kits. I think this is a little bit of a better investment because you get some highlighter, but you also get some bronzer and things you're really going to use. I find myself not reaching for the Glow Kit that much. So this one also has a highlighter in it, which is really pretty. And this is the contour powder kit in medium to tan. So that one's really good. But in all honesty, and I really mean this, my favorite highlighter of every single one I've tried Laura Geller, I've tried Becca, is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow in Precious Petals. This is what it looks like. It's literally like $3.99. It's always sold out, so if you find it, get a ton. It's really good. It's very subtle, but I mean, look at that. It's really good. Anyway, this is a fan brush from Eco Tools, but really use whatever you want. Sometimes I use my finger, sometimes I use a brush like this. It's kind of your personal preference. So now, I love highlighter on the tip of my nose, so just do a little there, a little bit going down, a little bit on your upper lip, and then of course a little here. And I mean, look at that, that's Wet n Wild. It's like $3.99. It's so good. Now what you don't want to do with your highlighter is you don't want to go on your cheeks, you don't want to go on your whole face. It's really supposed to be on the high points of your face, and that's it, because otherwise you can look like an oily mess. So now I like to take with my finger a little bit and put it in the inner corner just to waken you up. And you can do this with any highlighter. You can do it even with a light eyeshadow, not on your cheeks, but in your inner corner you can. And I like to do a little bit underneath the eyebrow. Okay, so that is the base done. Now, next I usually would do my eyebrows, my eyeshadow. I actually like to do my eyeshadow when my bake is on. That way, if anything falls out, I can just dust it off. But this is everything I do for my foundation. I always get asked how it stays on so long. I honestly think it's the powders I use, which are the Rimmel Stay Matte, and this, which is just so good. But anyway, there you go. Let me know if you have any questions or if you want to see anything else, and I hope you have a Merry Christmas.